Are we back? I don't know what happened. My OBS just locked up on me. I don't know what's going on, guys. I'll give you guys a second. I'll give you guys a second to get back in here. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know. OBS crashed. I don't know why it did this morning. Maybe it hasn't had his coffee yet. I don't know. Sorry about that. I apologize, but sometimes things are even beyond my control, right? So we'll give it a second here, let you guys start coming back in. If you wouldn't mind, maybe tweet it out the stream, let everybody know that I am back. Let's go out there. Tweet that out. So, okay, get that out of here. What is this? So we're back here. I think we're back. I think we're back. I think we're back, maybe. Hopefully we're back. I hope we're back. Hope everything's good, right? So, all right. So anyway, as I was saying, um, and I don't know exactly where it froze up or cut off, but I'll go. I will kind of pick up. So Oz's legal team, right, is essentially saying, look, Blair and her pyramid company, which is the two entities that are have filed this lawsuit. They haven't produced any evidence. They haven't produced anything that says or shows or proves any of her allegations in the filings, right? All that they've done in these filings is made assertions, accusations based upon feelings. Well, law, right? Court of law, judge, right? Lady, what's her name? What's her name? Lady Liberty, I think, or I don't know. There's the stat, whatever. They don't care about your feelings. Your feelings don't come into this, right? When you are taking someone to court, when you're in the middle of litigation, feelings have no bearing in it, right? If you cannot produce tangible evidence, right, verifiable evidence, so Blair's going to have to produce some sort of medium, be it electronic communications, video communications, audio recordings. She's going to have to produce something that backs up these allegations, right? And she hasn't done this. And that's what Oz's lawyers are saying here, right? Like, so either she basically put up or shut up, right? That's essentially what Oz's team is saying. So let's continue on with the video.
Plaintiff Blair's claims against Oz, the amended complaint alleges that the parties were involved in a romantic relationship and lived together at various times in Oz's home. Blair alleges that the romantic relationship ended and that she moved out of Oz's home in December 2021. Claiming that she and Oz were still good friends, Blair moved back into Oz's home in August of 2022 while her new home was under construction. Blair alleges she began seeing a new person romantically over the Christmas and New Year's holiday, presumably in 2022. The amended complaint alleges that Oz contacted an employee of Blair's in January 2023, telling the employee that Blair had cheated on him, and that Oz further texted co-defendant blank that Blair screwed him over. The amended complaint further alleges that Oz published a series of tweets falsely claiming that Blair had abused him. Finally, the amended complaint alleges Oz published and/or appeared in videos that included false allegations of theft. None of the alleged statements by Oz are set forth verbatim in the amended complaint, nor attached to it as an exhibit. We talked about that. She has all these basically broad and vague allegations of defamation, but nowhere does she have a single specific instance, a date or an exact quote or anything to support her allegations. It's just ridiculous. None of the alleged statements by Oz regarding Blair are plausibly defamatory. The amended complaint is so lacking in essential details, including exactly what and in what context Oz said anything that it fails to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. Further, none of the vaguely described statements alleged in the amended complaint pertain to Plaintiff Pyramid Entertainment LLC, and as such, it cannot state a claim for defamation against Oz.
See, and that's the thing, right? This is something that I learned because I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a nitwit out here. But when I was watching the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, right? People can make allegations of defamation, slander, that type of stuff. But it's one of the harder cases to actually prove out and win. People, especially on the internet, right? They say things all the time that could be taken as slanderous or defamation, right? Which means that you're basically damaging that person's reputation and how people perceive them or look at them, right? But the thing that you have to be able to do is you have to be able to prove damages. It's not that what the person said is not necessarily damaging to you, hurtful, right? It can be very hurtful, right? But unless you can prove damages, like if you have to show a monetary loss. Okay, because if you can't, because it's not just, yes, we're going to play Fortnite tonight, Seth. Calm down. Or for us, it'll be the afternoon, be you evening. But yes, Fortnite's on the table this evening. You have to be able to prove a monetary loss, right? Now, here's where the rub is going to come. As we shown, right, Blair went from having 1.7 million subs, right, to around this time a year ago, to where now she's down to 1.2 million subs. So she's lost about 500,000 subscribers, ballparkish, right? Which in turn does equate to money. However, she has to be able to prove that the things that Oz and these other two guys or other two people said, did, right? Statements that they've made, tweets that they possibly put out, videos that they put out, damaged her, right? That in some way tarnished her brand. However, if these people can prove what they said as factual, if they put out tweets, if they put out videos that she identifies and says, hey, which is what Oz's legal team here is saying, is you have to be very specific. You cannot just broadcast or with very broad strokes say, well, this person said this, whatever. You have to be able to prove it. You have to be able to show us succinctly, where did they say this? When did they say it? And they have to be able to show this. And that's what they're saying is Blair hasn't done this. Okay. So let's continue on.
In other words, what they're saying is everything she's alleged that he said, it's basically to deal with her. It has nothing to do with her company. And that's also like with the breach of contract claims. It's kind of bizarre to me and ridiculous that how are they breaching contract when all this stuff that's been discussed so far is all personal stuff. It's not business related other than they're alleging that Oz contacted one of Blair's employees. Other than that, there's nothing business related in what she's claimed. Plaintiff's amended complaint and each purported cause of action therein should be dismissed for failure to plead claims for which relief may be granted. And then, the legal argument goes on, and I'm not going to go through all that because I don't think we really need to cover that. We're getting the gist of what their argument is that basically she's provided no detail, and so the court should dismiss her complaint. They also included this section, which I agree with, because now remember, she had filed a complaint, then she filed an amended complaint, and that's what we had discussed was the amended complaint. They're asking the court now that further leave to amend should be denied. They're saying, don't give her another chance to revise her complaint because she's already had 2 shots at it. If she can't get it right after the second one, the amended complaint, then why should she continue to get chances? It's like, what are we going
to... That's a really good question, right? How many times should a plaintiff, which is what Blair and her this is, she's the plaintiff in this. She's the one that brought these charges. She brought these allegations. How many times should she be allowed, right, to keep amending things? Because essentially what they're doing is they're just trying to find more stuff to throw against the wall to see what will stick, right? I'm not a lawyer, right? I don't play one on TV. I didn't stay to Best Western last night or anything like that. But that's another thing is you can't just continuously just throw things. It sounds like to me that maybe her legal team was not as prepared as maybe they should have been, or more curiously, is she doing a Chat GPT situation where she's using Chat GPT to file these claims? I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of weird. But anyway, let's continue.
To do keep letting her try until she finally gets to where it might be something that the court could act on. That's kind of unfair to Oz because she's the one filing the lawsuit. She should have her stuff together and her facts together, and she should have alleged all of that with specificity when she first filed her complaint. And they say plaintiffs have already amended their complaint and should not be granted further leave to amend, whereas here they have and continue to fail to plead plausible claims based on facts rather than threadbare legal conclusions. And they say, wherefore, Oz prays the court dismiss plaintiff's amended complaint for failure to set forth any cause of action for which relief may be granted. I totally agree with that. And in my opinion, when the judge read that, and we'll talk about her response in a second, after reading everything, if I had been the judge, I would have dismissed it. I would have said, this is nonsense. You have not provided any foundation to.
I'm the cat. You will never convince me he's not a cyber begging clown. They're all rich douchebag guys. You know what? Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. I don't know. All I will say is this, is if a person is going through something and they do a stream for donations or they do a GoFundMe or whatever, if people decide that they want to support that person and they want to give their money to do so, that's really between them and that person. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what my opinions are, right? It shouldn't matter to you either. And if you're that fixated and focused on it, maybe go touch some grass or something, dude. Step away. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. And your little rant that you've been going on in chat, dude, is kind of coming across like you're a little bit peanut butter jelly. Just saying.
Bring this complaint. You haven't given the court anything that could remotely prove your case. And the time to make your argument is when you file your complaint. It's not all the evidence that you present. You obviously when you get to court, you're going to have exhibits and other evidence and people are going to get deposed, but you need to have the facts set out. You can't just say, he said something bad about me and file a complaint in court. You got to say when, what, where, give specifics of why it entitles you to relief. So let's look at her response. So here's her response, and it says, response to defendant Oz's motion to dismiss. Plaintiffs Pyramid Entertainment and Blair, by and through their undersigned counsel, hereby submit the following response to defendant Oz's motion to dismiss as follows. Legal authority under the standard of dismissal for failure to state a claim. The court accepts every factual allegation in the plaintiff's complaint as true and views the facts in light most favorable to the plaintiff. And that's correct. And that's pretty uniform, not just in Colorado and like all the states where I practice. That's the way the court looks at it. And obviously it's different case law that's gotten to that conclusion. But basically what it says is you gave the benefit of the doubt to the plaintiff and let them have the opportunity to argue their complaint and make their case in court, and then let either the judge or the jury decide whether or not they've proven their case. Well, the reason why Oz is filing this motion, what they're saying is basically that the facts in Blair's complaint are so vague and without specificity that really they're not facts. They're just vague assertions, really. So I'm going to skip like the whole argument section. I'm going to just go to where the facts section here is that they're talking about. It says here, plaintiffs allege, not limited to the following. I've redacted not just names, but there's a couple of words in here that I redacted, like the R word. I don't want YouTube to flag the video, so here, plaintiffs allege not limited to the following. On or about January 4th, 2023, defendant Oz contacted Blair's employee and told the employee that Blair cheated on him, despite Oz's and Blair's romantic relationship ending in December 2021.
What does that got to do with anything? I mean, seriously, how is that slander or defamation? Just because a previous significant other contacts, I mean, that happens all the time. I don't. Whew.
That's not defamatory. In or around the latter part of April of 2023, defendant Oz published a series of Twitter, now X posts, falsely claiming that Blair had abused him. Okay, well, that's something that you would need to prove in court. There's a whole lot of things to be considered. So, okay, so that's one thing. But again, the problem is they don't say exactly what he said. They just say that he made allegations or he made.
Yeah, again, facts, feelings, guys. I can feel a certain way about things, right? Just like what was this cat's name again? I'm the cat. Just like the cat feels like Oz is a grifting douchebag. Well, he might very well be. But unless you have something to back up your feelings, that's all it is. You're just making statements, and you know, voicing your opinion, and that's cool, you know. So, but again, you've got to have something to back it up.
Post claiming falsely. They don't say what he said. What did he say that you're saying is false? You've got to tell the court what you're talking about. The court's not can't read her mind or his mind and figure this out. You've got to tell the court up front exactly what it is that you're basing your claim on. After Oz made these false Twitter X accusations, Blair began receiving death and R threats from third parties through Twitter, Discord, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and email. Blair made her first call to the police in this regard on or around April 23rd. Now, okay, why did she call the police? Okay, she called the police what? To say people are saying bad things about me on Twitter? You know, why did she feel the need to call the police? They don't.
I love how he just gets into like I said, the Madcaster. If you don't listen or watch his stuff, you ought to. You ought to put him on your rotation to watch stuff because he really does. Like who was it said? Luna Light says he takes and breaks down these legal discussions and stuff to where laymen, people like myself, can understand him. He's very good and he's entertaining, right? I don't know about the cat thing. The cat thing around everywhere, that's a little bit distracting for me, but hey, you know, whatever.
They don't say. They don't say anything. They don't get into any details. You know, this is one of the worst cases of vague complaints that I've ever seen. On July 25th, 2023, a defamatory video titled The Fall of Blair, YouTube's biggest bully, was posted about plaintiffs. This video was published by Madison. In that video, defendants speak publicly about their intent to publish another defamatory video about Blair and Pyramid. Again, we talked about this when we talked about the complaint. So what?
But here's the thing, too. How many videos, if we go and look right now, let's just go look right now, right? Go to Illuminati, and here we have to come over here to the filters because her channel is so buried, right? If we go look at here, all these videos, right? Lemongrass, a clean company with dirty secrets. Is your makeup killing you? These are all videos where she is making assertions, right? Plastic surgery for pets. Business, the dark side of disaster relief. Is Jenny Craig a classic scam? In these things, she's making assertions about all these different, you know, brands or people or topics, things like that, right? They're hit pieces, for lack of a better word, right? They're exposés, right? So for her to be crying, right? For her to be crying now about how Oz or someone did a video on her, I think is very hypocritical, right?
They appeared, there's a clip of them in somebody else's video saying that.
Are the thumbnails AI generated? Median, I don't know. I don't know. They very well could be AI generated. I know she has a team of like editors and artists and things like that she has that does these things for her. I know she even there are people saying that she even has like teams of writers that actually writes the stories and stuff, and she's basically just reads the stories and gives voice to it. What are you carrying on about? Just put out the damn video. People were shouting in her comments for her to take accountability, yet he's allowed to take all the time in the world for his video. Pure hope. I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm the cat. Okay, listen. Here we go. You ready? It's obvious that you are one of Illuminati's supporters. Hey, that's cool. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're in my chat talking. Thank you for that. You're going to help with the algorithms and the feed, and I'm appreciative of that. And you're being respectful. Um, Oz's video. Listen, here's a deal. I don't know anything. I'm not an Oz supporter. I'm not a well. I'm kind of a Blair detractor because I think she's not a very good person. I don't like what she did back in the day to Tommy. How she just decided on a whim because she did not want to be associated with the character that she had created. Just decided to go in and delete content that was not hers. She didn't own it. Um, so that I thought was a little bit out of pocket for her. Blair has done some other things over the years that are not very don't put her in a very good light. As far as Oz putting out a video, maybe, just possibly, he's listening to his legal team. Maybe his legal team is saying, hey, while this litigation and stuff is going on, maybe don't do it. Maybe he's being a smart cookie and listening to his legal team. That's the thing. When you hire lawyers and you're in the middle of litigation, you want to listen to them. You want to listen to what your lawyers tell you to do, what you can say, what you can't say. Maybe he's laying low during all this stuff. And especially if what we're seeing here and what Madcaster's talking about with this, she's continuously, her and her legal team are continuously trying to amend the original lawsuit, right? Trying to get things right. So rather than having their I's dotted and their T's crossed and coming in with what was it he said, specificity or specific examples, rather than just general broad strokes is what she's doing and her legal team is doing. And maybe his legal team is saying, listen, don't give anything that could even be construed to back up or support her right now. Right? She had, well, listen, here's the deal. I'm the cat. When you are a public person, which is what she is, she's a public figure, and you're making statements and you're doing some things that you're doing, you are not exempt from being harassed. I have received harassment, and I'm just a small little 1K micro channel. I have people to harass me all the time. So for her to whine, I mean, what about these different companies and brands that we just looked at on her channel and the things and allegations that she puts forth about them, which is based on speculation? What if they all of a sudden decided, hey, this YouTuber over here is making all these allegations, speculations. What if every one of them decided all of a sudden, oh, we're just going to sue, right? So people should be you can demand whatever you want to. People try to demand stuff of me all the time. It doesn't get them nowhere because what you have to understand is this, right? The only people that can demand anything from me, period, is people whose opinions I value or people who I have a personal relationship with. Say like my kids and or my wife, my mom, my brothers, things like that. That's really the ones that can really demand anything of me. And even then, they don't demand things of me because it doesn't get them where they want. And it doesn't get them the responses that they want. Right? It just don't, right? You demand more coffee memes. You demand I stream more. Listen, guys, I am trying to stream more. I'm trying to get back up, geared back up and doing that again. But like I say, this code stuff is took me down a notch. But look, listen, I'm the cat. I don't know what to tell you and all the little Illuminaughtis running around out there. I get it, right? Your person is under fire. Your person's feet are being held to the fire, right? The flames are licking up underneath her ass. I get it. You don't like it. I get it. I get it. But you have to ask yourself, why did she get to this position? What did she do? What did she do? All I can tell you is probably the vast majority of people in my chat right here today, right here in this moment in time, know of Blair, know what she did, know how she screwed Tommy C over at SFTP, and how she's not a very good person, just based upon her actions and deeds there, right? And all that stuff is starting to come to light. This is not the first time that she has done things to people. And as they say, as we say here in the South, guess what? Her chickens are coming home to roost. You cannot treat and do things to people like she has done and it not come back to haunt you. You can call it karma. You can call it, reaping what you sow, depending upon what, ideologies or philosophies that you subscribe to, right? And it like I said, from what research and stuff I could find out there, evidently she's facing some legal battles as far as not paying her taxes. Listen, if you are a million plus, almost 2 million sub YouTuber, and you're churning out and getting the views that she was getting, she was making some money. Pay your stinking taxes. How that wasn't real smart, right? So, she's done a lot to put herself in this position, right? She's made some pretty crazy accusations and statements. And the problem is she can't back any of it up. She alludes. She says, I feel this way. I don't care about your feelings. The fans were harassed. And see, that's the thing. When you like somebody, right? When when the person that you subscribe to, that you're following, that you really like, is under fire, and you come to their aid, right? You come charging in on that mighty steed because you're going to defend this person, right? And you wade out into this murkiness of blood and guts and battle. Yeah, it comes back at you because you interject yourself into something because your person is under fire. Hello? That's a no-brainer, dude. Right? I've had my own battles and stuff because people that I thought was getting an unfair shake, right, was being harassed. It's part of it. Listen, if you don't like that ecosystem, I get it. I understand it's not for everybody. My suggestion to you is this: support the people that you like, leave positive comments underneath their videos, and don't engage with the detractors or the naysayers. The worst possible place to go on is Twitter about that stuff, because Twitter is nothing but negativity cesspool. So just don't get in, especially if you can't handle it. If it really is that problematic and bothering, you just don't, man. Yeah, sure, there's bad actors. No argument. But you have to ask yourself, what has this person done to attract those types of, quote, bad actors? And let's just be quite honest. Blair has done some really horrific stuff, right? That's the problem. When you do the things you do, you're planting these seeds, right? And eventually, one of these days, these seeds grow and mature and start producing fruit. A lot of times that fruit is a very bitter thing to consume. And right now she's having to consume that. I don't necessarily like the fact that her little whatever, company is facing these. I don't like for small businesses, right? To but she mismanaged. She you know, I don't like the fact that possibly people that she's employing is not losing their jobs or losing a source of income, because I'm sure they had become dependent upon that. I get that, right? I'm not necessarily happy about that, but right, you pay your money, you roll your dice, you take your chances, right? I mean, anyway, I mean, I'm it is what it is. But anyway, I'm not really going to watch a whole lot more of Mad Casters. I want you guys to go check it out yourself. Um, Suffice it to say, the judge has a very interesting ruling in this. These um, basically, the judge tells Illuminati and her legal team that um, they are not going to allow the amendment to the case, but gives them an opportunity to do one more basically attempt to amend the original um, case that they filed. But if they do not bring in, as they say, chapter and verse, right? If they don't bring specific examples, which means they're going to bring in tweets, they're going to have to bring in video evidence showing specific, detailed to what they're alleging. It can't just be feelings. It can't just be emotions. If they cannot bring that back, then more than likely where this is headed is the judge is going to dismiss it all. And so then what happens? Well, any and all monies that she's laid out for this legal team is poof, it's gone. Right. Now she can. Now, one other thing is, one of the things that the Madcaster brings up is depending upon how it's dismissed. Right. Now the judge can just dismiss it, which means that Illuminati, Blair, and her legal team, or a different legal team or whatever, could some point down the road bring this again, right? They could file again. Or if the judge dismisses it with prejudice, it basically means that she cannot file again, right? That this is dead and gone. Then they never produced the enough evidence to sustain their allegations, and so therefore, boom, it's done and over with, and it's no more, right? So we'll just kind of have to wait. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, if nothing else, hopefully, Blair learns from this. Hopefully, she starts maybe dealing with people a little bit more squarely. And is not such I don't know how you would put it. Just don't be a jerk, I guess. I don't know. I mean, Anyway, anyway. All right. So moving along. Yesterday afternoon, early evening, Stardust and Jalen got into it on Twitter. And I know that people don't like Jalen. Full transparency, and I can't give you a reason why, but I have sympathy for Jalen. Jalen does bring 99% of the stuff that happens to Jalen, she brings into her life because of the choices that she makes. But I also think that a lot of people antagonize her and egg her, and to try to get her to quote law cow out, and she does just that. Um, I have sympathy for her. I feel sorry for her. This situation that occurred, the heart of it or whatever, was Stardust was going over and covering the whole situation with H3H3, um, Vosh, and so forth. And she was doing it by watching the Willie Mack video that he just put out. There was a segment in there where he was using a recent stream of Jalen's, where Jalen was trying to defend Vosh from H3H3, and Jalen had brought up the old H3 podcast clips where he had iDubbbz on there, and H3H3 was throwing around the the phrase that iDubbbz, was uh, infamous for, right? The N slur, F slur statement, right? Um, and she was using that as an example to show, that um, H3H3 has his own sorted. Uh, I think it was kind of an apples to orange comparison. H3H3 is not a decent person either. He has his own problems. Um, I know a lot of people were out here stating about how Ethan W. and Ethan. Okay, so in this particular situation, was he getting W's over people? Maybe, right? But I don't think I would necessarily be giving Ethan anything, because he will turn right around, and because he's a snake, and he's going to do what Ethan does. So I'm not handing out anything to Ethan other than whatever, right? Um, so I did find it kind of funny that some of these people who have been doggedly against H3 was all of a sudden given H3Ws. Whatever, do you, right? Um, I don't understand how or why people are so adamant about defending Vosh in this situation when it was clear what was shown was shown. And it almost comes across, because of some of the statements that these people have made, that they're defending them solely because they align more to their political ideologies. My stance on that is you cannot defend somebody. My personal thoughts on this is, if somebody out there, you share political ideologies, if they do something that is really heinous, right, and is really bad, you can't defend them, right? You just can't. Just for the sake of saving someone who, or try to save someone just because of your political ideologies line up. You can't do it. And that's kind of what I've seen. I think that's kind of why Jalen was trying to defend Bosch. I'm fairly certain that's why Tipster's trying to defend Bosch. Same thing with Keffels. They're trying to defend and save because, Bosch aligns more with their political leanings. Um, that's their choices. They have to live with the consequences of their choices. Um, but I think in this point, I don't think they're from a very how do I put this? They have the low ground, they don't have the high ground on this one. And I don't think it's going to turn out good for them. Now, that being said, Stardust and Jalen got into it on Twitter back and forth. And Jalen threw some accusation towards Stardust based upon some statements that Stardust did in that stream. Because, well, let me just do this here. So this is from Now Recording's live stream last night, and this is Stardust in her own words on why she said what she said.
Yeah, sorry. Last night I was reviewing Willie Mack's video on the Vosh stuff, and then the part with Jalen came up, and I don't know what it was, but something really triggered me, and I went on a rant about how I'm transphobic against Jalen and Jalen only, and that and that, you know, being a woman isn't the requirements for being a woman isn't just growing your hair long. You know, like it's just not
growing your hair long and not washing it.
Yeah, growing your hair long,
give
not
that long
washing it, and
stringy.
then acting like the most unhinged, socialized male person ever. I know you're a male because just of the way that you act, and you're not even a normal male. You're a psychotic male. Like, damn, dude.
Okay. So, you know, that's kind of harsh. That's kind of harsh. In my opinion, that was kind of harsh statement. And, you know, that's something that has always been levied at Jalen. And this is, I guess, where the bleeding heart in me comes out, right? When I look at Jalen, I see a person that's broken, right? I see a person that is wanting acceptance. That's it. The problem is, and Jalen, I don't know if you'll see this video or not, but I'm speaking to you here. You will never find acceptance, and you will never find what you're seeking, and you will never find people to be tolerant of you when you display such intolerance towards others. You cannot be as venomous as you are towards people because you don't agree with them. You don't like that they are, you know, they have a religious background. Not all people who have a faith look at people who are trans as the boogeymen or boogie women or boogie person, right? We don't all look at people like that like you guys are monsters. I have a very deep faith. I try to look at each person individually, and I try to accept them and try to find good in each and every person. Sometimes it's extremely hard. And there's been a few people that I've come in contact with in all the years that I've been online. And more recently, it's intensified over the last year or so just from making content. I've come across a few people that there's no redeeming qualities about them. I don't think that's you, Jalen. I think there are some redeeming qualities about you. But I think you are in such a place of hurt that you're lashing out everywhere. I would hope that sometime, somewhere in the future, that you can get to a place where you can find acceptance. And the first person who has to you have to learn how to accept you and to love you. And sometimes that's the hardest part, is to find that part of you that is redeemable, that is a good person. I hope you find it. There were some things that were said last night on that live stream. And Stardust had every right to push back because Jalen said some pretty horrific stuff addressed towards Stardust and towards Stardust's friend, right? So Jalen 100% deserved the pushback. Not saying that she didn't. But it was obvious that because she wound up going off cam because she got very emotional and very withdrawn. And I, like I say, I hope that Jalen can find peace. I do. I like I say, I know a lot of the things that Jalen is going through. It's because she's brought it into her life. So she has no one to blame but herself. But I do hope that Jalen finds some way to learn how not to bring that kind of torment into her life. Because, like I say, I think there is a decent person inside of Jalen. I do think there's something inside of her that is redeemable. Despite all the horrible things that she has said, and she has said some really atrocious things. But I don't believe a person shows emotions like that if there's not something inside of them that is not redeemable. My advice maybe is to unplug for a lengthy period of time. Maybe find somebody that you can go to for some counseling and help if you're not already there getting it. And maybe just unplug for a while. Now I'm sure that some of the people that were in that call last night, if they see this, they'll laugh at me and they'll you're just whatever. You can call me. You can whatever. That's fine. I personally am not ready to just label or to put Jalen in a category that they're just not a good person. I think she says some very nasty things, but I think she says those things because she's hurting, and I hope she can find a way to address that hurt. So anyway, that pretty much is going to wrap it up today. I would encourage you guys to, if you have not, to check out this guy I found the other day who does streams and stuff. He's kind of quirky, kind of a goofball, has some questionable taste in like things he likes to watch and talk about, whatever. But anyway, like I said, I want to shout him out. He's a smaller creator. He's almost got 500 subs. I really would like to see us get him to 500 subs so he can start having channel memberships and things like that, and super chats and so forth. If you haven't, maybe consider, giving him a a subscribe. If you are not subscribed to him, here is a link to his channel. Give him a little subscribe. He does streams on here, on this channel. Tuesday he did a stream. I don't know this Dangaron. I don't know what that. I can't say it. It's whatever. Fridays he does Fortnite streams where he sometimes I can get in there depending on the workload, how things going, how long he goes. I'll get in and play with him a little bit. Sometimes if Seth doesn't fall asleep, she'll get in there and play with him. He allows people from the community to team up with him and play, and have stuff. I'm going to try to, depending on how the day goes, whatever. I may even do some Fortnite streaming over on my gaming channel as well. Kind of have that open to the community this evening. So if you guys like to play Fortnite and that type of stuff, you can check me out over on River Plays, my gaming channel. You can squad up with me. We'll play some Fortnite, have some fun. But if you haven't, like I said, check him out. Maybe give him a subscribe. He's at 460 subs. Would really love to get him to 500. Really would like to see that happen, because then we can do the channel memberships, and then we can put more pressure on him to make more content. That's how that works. So guilt equates more content. So anyway, yes, another day, another victory for the OGs, taking down the sweats. Exactly. Listen, we also last night over on Clear as Mud, we did a crazy stream. Had callers that called in. We talked about who do you love and all kinds of funny stuff, funny stories about really horrible dates and so forth. Kind of a crazy stream. Check that out. We also put out a recorded video yesterday. Talking about stinky feet. So give that a view if you haven't. A lot of content out there right now to be consumed. A lot of people doing streams. Chud Logic. He's actually streaming right now. Let's see who. Let me see. Let me go out here and see. Who else got things going on? Does Nerdy got a thing coming up to see this morning? I don't think Nerdy does. Let's see. Nerdy John, do you have a live stream for me to go into this morning live? And no, he doesn't. Okay. So I'm going to, I think Chud is live. Is Chud live? Chud is live. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to set this thing up to raid into Chud. If you guys haven't ever watched Chud, we're going to raid into him. And if I can, if it'll let me, I don't know if it'll let me raid into him. Let's see here, redirect. Yes, it's going to let me raid into him. Good deal. So we're going to raid into Chud Logic. We're going to, he's a pretty cool cat. He came and I did an interview with me and Maggot. It's here on this channel. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It was a lot of fun. He was a very cool guy. Maggot and I have got a couple of more people lined up to interview. We're going to be interviewing them this next week, and looking forward to that. If there are some people out there, they don't necessarily have to be in commentary, but if there are some people out there that you would like for me and Maggot to interview, sit down with and have conversations with, hit up Maggot, hit up me, come into the Discord, tag me in the Discord, DM me in the Discord, whatever. And let me know, let Maggot know, people that you might like for us to interview. Would love to do that. Would love to do that. Let us know. But until then, guys, we're going to get out of here. We're going to radio over into Chud, tell Chud we said, hey, You guys have a wonderful morning. Remember, guys, remember. Always, always, always. I'll see you tomorrow morning, members only. And to always keep your powder dry and look for me in the funny papers.